and gentlemen. This is the Human Milkbank Association of the Philippines Incorporated, featuring its first ever scientific conference entitled Emerging Concern and New Trends in Human Milk Banking. My name is Malor Marco, your host in this very special gathering. It is with great pleasure to welcome our distinguished guests today, as well as all the participants in this very special gathering. Of course, all our doctors and nurses, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Please join me in welcoming on stage Dr. Estrella J. Olonan Husi, President of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, to deliver the opening remarks. Let us give her a rousing round of applause.
First of all, it is with great pride to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests, Director 4 Ruby Constantino, past District Governor Ray David, Dr. Gloria B. Ramirez, and lastly to our participants, a pleasant morning to everyone. In behalf of the board members of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, we are grateful for your presence in this very special gathering, the first scientific conference entitled Emerging Concerns and Trends in Human Milk Banking. The establishment of human milk banks has been recognized as one of the strategies to promote breastfeeding. It gives the vulnerable infants, such as those born preterm or low birth weight, and even those in disaster areas, access to the multiple benefits of breast milk at the time when they need it most. In the Philippines, Human Milk Banks has been established in 2008, starting from the 3 pioneer human milk banks. Currently, there are 18 established human milk banks all over the country. The Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines was created with a vision to be a regional technical leader in human milk banking. It is now a formally convened association registered at the Securities and Exchange Commission, and part of its mission is to provide a regional expertise in the human milk bank in Southeast Asia. The Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines has initiated the organization of the Regional Human Milk Bank Network in Southeast Asia. So in line with this, I would like to encourage everyone who are here with us today to participate and support our association's mission, vision, and projects in the future. We believe that we can be of great help to all women, especially the mothers who care about for the health of their babies. Today, we have prepared a series of lectures that will help everyone understand how milk banks work and its importance in our society. We are excited to share our phenomenal insights to everyone. Once again, it is with great pleasure and honor to welcome everyone in our first scientific conference, and thank you for all your time and valuable presence. Let us all enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Estrella Olonan Lucy, for your wonderful opening remarks. At this point, to give us a brief introduction and overview of this course, may I call on stage Dr. Sheila Ann D. Masangkay, Auditor and also the Scientific Committee Chair for the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. Let us all give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is worthwhile to remind us all that a human milk bank is established as a temporary service to provide safe donor milk to infants in need. And these infants are our premature patients and the critically ill full-term infants. This conference was put together primarily to bring us together, to standardize our practices, listen to and solve our problems together, and essentially to unite us all. We have a busy day, which starts with inspirational messages from our distinguished guests from the OH, from Rotary, and we cap it with a tribute to a very important person where human milk banking, breastfeeding advocacy is concerned. There are 4 lectures which affect processes in human milk banking, and that will be National Human Milk Bank Policies, that will be delivered by Dr. Talibo. Getting ready to set up a human milk bank, which will be delivered by Dr. Olonan Lucy. Health hazard critical points analysis will be delivered by another safety measure for donor milk, that will be delivered by Dr. Faye Ocampo. And continuing breast milk supply in emergencies, that will be delivered by Ma'am Bessie Borja. The other lecture, which will be delivered by Dr. Nympha Putong, will impact on donor screening, counseling, and education. The other activities in the afternoon will be presentations in the form of posters from selected human milk banks, and we thank all those who presented. We likewise have a short lecture from our sponsor on GI Protect and maybe some surprises. Lastly, we will have an hour or so for clarifying issues and concerns. So this will be the venue to raise your issues and whatever process problems you have in your institutions. Without further ado, I hope it will be a fruitful, useful, and practical learning day for us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sheila Ann Masangkay. Our distinguished guests of honors to please come on stage. Have your designated seats, sirs and ma'am. May I call in Director Ruby Constantino, past District Governor Ray David, and also Dr. Gloria Ramirez. So once again, we are grateful for the presence of our distinguished guests today who would like to share their valuable insights to all of us. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored to be part of this very memorable gathering. We are grateful for the presence of our distinguished guests of honor who will share her valuable message to everyone. Let us all be inspired and equipped as we listen to her inspiring insights. Once again, I'd like to call on stage Dr. Estrella Olonan Lucy to introduce to us today's keynote speaker.
Our speaker for today has been in service for 30 years at the Department of Health Regional Office. And then she transferred at the Department of Health Central Office, and she is now the Director 4 of the Disease and Prevention Control Bureau. It is with great pride to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Director Ruby C. Constantino. Let us all give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I told her to give a very short introduction because her introduction might be longer than my message. In behalf of our Secretary of Health, Secretary Francisco T. Duque III, we thank the Milkbank Association of the Philippines Incorporated for inviting the Department of Health in this very first scientific conference. Actually, it was Asay Cosette Vergere who was tasked to represent our Secretary of Health, but at the last minute, she was called to attend to an interview this morning regarding dengue. So at the last minute, like a good soldier, I have to follow. I am representing our Assistant Secretary Vergere. To Dr. Estrella Oluna Jose, who is the president of this Human Milkbank Association of the Philippines, and to the other members of this association, to Dr. Gloria B. Ramirez, who I think we consider our mentor in this human milk banking, and of course the PDG, Dr. Ray David, of the Rotary International District 3780, to our distinguished resource speakers. I am looking for our technical person, Dr. Calibo. To the advocates of Human Milk Bank, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Allow me to give this message in behalf of the Department of Health. According to the National Demographic Health Survey, there is a steady increase in babies born with low birth weight or small for gestational age from 2003, which was 13% of birth with reported birth weights, to 14.5% in 2007. While measures to help modify risk factors for this condition are being implemented, there is still a need to ensure that low birth weights who have difficulty to feed and newborns who are separated from their mothers due to illness or other catastrophic emergencies or disasters have access to temporary and safe sources of breast milk. Human milk banks is one of the main interventions to ensure an increased chance in helping newborns thrive. Human milk banking supports breastfeeding as a nutrition-specific intervention as it directly impacts inadequate food intake as a cause of undernutrition for infants who are unable to normally breastfeed because of low birth weight and other complications. Human milk banks must also stand as beacons of ethical milk sharing, not only providing the lead structure for storage, processing, and distribution of human milk, but also be advocates for protecting women from being exploited as providers of breast milk, and that milk banking must remain to be affordable, public service-oriented, and non-profit. Briefly setting aside the importance of human milk banks, light must be cast on the importance of empowering women and their families on maternal nutrition, proper antenatal care, and postpartum recovery and nutrition. The top guiding principles in the Human Milk Bank policy, soon to be issued by the DOH, which I think later will be discussed fully by Dr. Anthony Calibo, is that all mother's milk should still be the first choice for newborn feeding. Mothers of newborns and young children accessing human milk banks must be encouraged to seek counseling and support from trained breastfeeding counselors on lactation or relactation, and human milk banks are only to serve as temporary solution until mothers and their babies are together and lactation has been established or re-established. with consideration of the cultural uniqueness of the practice of breastfeeding. Pasteurized human breast milk is meant to be provided to newborns and infants with no access to their mother's breast milk due to illness and/or disasters and emergencies. Human Milk Bank in itself is a collaboration of services in order for it to be successful. The soul of milk banking lies in educating women, communities, health workers, and all levels of government on proper lactation management, that human milk banks are only secondary support to proper breastfeeding and is not the immediate solution to the inability to provide breast milk to newborns and infants. Proper planning must be done so that health managers are able to identify the most critical and ideal position of the economically efficient milk banks so that it will be accessible, especially to the vulnerable populations from all socioeconomic classes, especially during emergencies and disasters. Networks must also be built for sourcing, acceptance, storage, processing, and distribution to communities in both homes and lactation areas, formal and informal workplaces, and public areas to establish healthy and robust pool of milk source for the public. In response, the number of human HMBs or the human milk banks in the country continued to expand from the very first human milk bank established at the Philippine Children's Medical Center, the Dr. Josefa Abella Memorial Hospital, and the Philippine General Hospital. This expansion was guided by a series of operational guidelines in the form of the very first manual of operations in human milk banking in the Philippines. While this resulted in the proliferation of human milk banks in the NCR, only a few were established in other regions. This and the uptake of interest from the different sectors to promote and establish human milk banks show a need for national policy to regulate the establishment of this type of facility and increase its accessibility for infants and families in need to protect, promote, and support infant and young child feeding. The National Policy on Human Milk Banking, which is in development since 2016, is what the DOH is committed to issue by the end of this quarter, largely to support the public policy requirements for primary health care and nutrition during the first 1,000 days and the principle of the universal health care. Congratulations to the Human Milk Banking Association of the Philippines Incorporated for establishing your organization and putting up this first scientific conference. Given the immediate progress we need to make in maternal, newborn, and children's health and nutrition, let us explore partnerships to improve the accessibility of the vulnerable population to health services. The future belongs to those who have the vision to see it, and the future is in opening ourselves to collaborations within and outside the bounds of our health system and innovative governance to serve our communities of women, children, and their families. We just need to face the challenges ahead through collaborations, communication, working as them, we can do it. Thank you and good morning.
Once again, let's give a big, big hand for Director Ruby Constantino. Ma'am, thank you very much for sharing your valuable and phenomenal insights to everybody here today. And may I request on stage the President of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, Dr. Estrella Olonan Husi, and also Dr. Sheila Ann Masangkay, the Scientific Committee Chair, to present the plaque of appreciation to our distinguished keynote speaker.
Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, Inc. presents this plaque of appreciation to Honorable Dulgay, in place is Dr. Constantino, in grateful appreciation for sharing his valuable time as keynote speaker during the first scientific conference, Emerging Concerns and New Trends in Human Milk Banking, given this 30th day of July 2019 at Century Park Hotel, Manila. Signed, myself and Dr. Estrella Husi.
To share another remarkable insights, it is an absolute delight to call on stage past District Governor Ray C. David, the District Rotary Foundation Chair of Rotary International District 3780. Let us give him a warm round of applause.
A pleasant good morning to everyone. Actually, I did not prepare any speech, but first of all, allow me to greet the president of this Philippine Human Milkbank Association, Dr. Estrella Husi, and of course to Director Constantino, and to the advocacy of this Human Milk Bank, the mother of this Human Milk Bank, Dr. Gloria Ramirez, and to the officers and members of this Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, to my fellow doctors, ladies and gentlemen, isang magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Actually, it is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be invited to this first scientific meeting, and this allowed me the opportunity to connect to that same people, to my fellow doctors who have that same advocacy, and that is to provide quality medical care and to have this to save mother and infant. As the chairman of the Rotary Foundation Inc., as a Rotarians, actually in Rotary, we have this Rotary Foundation, and this is the charitable arms of Rotary, wherein also solely supported by the contributions of Rotarians, and with that mission and to advance peace and understanding through that service project that alleviates poverty, support education, and improvement of health. With that motto, doing good in this world. Actually, to give you some information, actually the first significant project of the Rotary is that the eradication of this dreaded disease, what we call polio. Reduction of these polio cases, 99.9%. It was started, the first project was started here in the Philippines, immunization of 6 million children in the Philippines against this polio. And in 1985 and 1988, with the Global Eradication Initiative, with partnership with the UNICEF World Health Organization, actually 2.5 billion children were immunized, and the Rotary Foundation spent about $3 billion and saved about 16 million Filipino people with this vaccination against polio, the saved from paralysis. Yan po ang greatest accomplishment of the Rotary International, at least reduce the cases of polio 99.9%. Actually, dalawang bansa na lang po ang may polio cases, and that is in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. Probably 2 to 3 years from now, tatanggalin na po natin sa buong mundo itong polio cases. Yan po ang nagawa ng Rotary Foundation. From that initial contribution in 1917, when Arts Club proposed the creation of endowment fund, and that is to do good in this world, meron pong nag-contribute ng $26.50 in 1917. This is the beginning, and this actually is a great force strong enough that actually from now there is a $3 billion contributions to the Rotary Foundation, and the Rotary Foundation has spent about $2.5 billion for projects that transforms millions of lives around the world. Yan po ang Rotary. With regards to the Human Milk Bank, actually now in the Philippines, there are 24 Human Milk Bank. Actually, yung 16 po is were funded by the Rotary Foundation. Yung 16 po sa 24 na Human Milk Bank were funded, invested by the Rotary Foundation, because especially me as a doctor, our advocacy is to focus on health. Tama. So, yung 16 na yan, and now they are also requesting another Human Milk Bank in Region 1 in Ilocos because wala pa raw dyan sa Ilocos region. And the other one in Cagayan de Oro, Human Milk Bank in Cagayan de Oro. And the other one is in National Children's Hospital. Yan 16 po na Human Milk Bank na yan sa Philippine Children Medical Center. Nandiyan po yung aking sa tiga-FEU, si Doktora Masangkay. Yan. Of course, yan ang graduate ng FEU. Nagbigay po kami ng Human Milk Bank sa Philippine Children Medical Center, sa Quirino Medical Center, sa East Avenue Medical Center, Malabon General Hospital, at sa Cagayan, sa Bicol, sa marami, 16 po yan. And the Rotary Foundation spent about $1.3 million for this Human Milk Bank. At saka yung mga doktor dito na pinadala po natin sa Europe, sa London to attend the Human Milk Bank. Pwede ba magtayo yung mga doktor na napadala rito sa London? Sino ba yung napadala namin sa London? Yan po ang napadala namin sa London. So, ganyan po ang suporta ng Rotary Foundation sa Human Milk Bank. Because actually, naniniwala po kami, from these 24 Human Milk Bank, at least around 60,000 sick infants ang natulungan po nitong ating Human Milk Bank. Because importante po sa infant, at least only 34% ang nakaka-avail ng human milk, no? So, kailangan po nila ng nutrition na to. So, sabi nga po nila, Rotary connects the world. Yan po ang tema ng amin. And through this Rotary connect us to people who take meaningful service action to our communities, to our professional opportunities, and to the people who need our help. Through this Human Milk Bank program and to this Rotary Foundation, connect us also with these people who have that same dream, same goal, to save sick infants, to provide the proper nutrition. Kaya po ngayon we have the vision statement sa Rotary Foundation. Together, we see a world where people unite to take actions to create a lasting change around the globe, in our communities, in ourselves. Kaya po, tingnan po natin the islands in the sea. At the surface, you can see they are separated, but deep inside, they are connected. So, let us connect. Connect with this organization, the Rotary to connect with this organization so that we can create a meaningful service project and also to elevate, to make a difference in people's lives. Again, isang magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Thank you.
Once again, let's give a big hand for past District Governor Ray C. David. Maraming salamat po, sir, for your valuable unending support to the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. And at this point, I'd like to call on stage once again Dr. Estrella Olonan, who's the President of Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, and also Dr. Sheila Ann Masangkay, Scientific Committee Chair, to present the plaque of appreciation to past District Governor Ray C. David.
The citation reads, a plaque of appreciation to PDG Ray C. David, MD, Rotary Foundation Chair, in grateful recognition for the unwavering support of the Rotary Foundation to the association. Given same citation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much to our District Rotary Foundation Chair of Rotary International District 3780, past District Governor Ray C. David. At this point, Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines gives an honor and would like to give a special recognition to the mother of this amazing association, Dr. Gloria B. Ramirez. And I would like to call on stage once again Dr. Sheila Ann Masangkay to present the citation for Dr. Gloria B. Ramirez.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, allow the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines to pay tribute to a grand lady who is actually the mother of human milk banking in the Philippines. After her graduation from the UP College of Medicine, she was among the top 10 medical board examinees in 1956. Her 3-year residency training was obtained at Sinai Hospital of Baltimore, after which her journey in training was enriched by years at the Babies Hospital in Columbia and the Michael Reese Hospital in Chicago. In the latter institution, she became the director of premature and full-term newborns. During her time, there was no specialty in neonatology yet, so she made her own program which spanned 4 years, starting with biochemistry research in carbohydrate metabolism, neonatal pathology, neonatal circulatory and respiratory physiology. Fast forward. Back in the Philippines, her appointment as head of the neonatology division of PCMC in 1993 paved the way for her breastfeeding advocacy. In 1996, realizing the profound role of nutrition among ill babies, she created the Alay Gatas program, a community program which motivated lactating mothers in the barangays in front of PCMC and nearby to donate their extra breast milk for the prematures and the critically ill full terms in the NICU. Thus, fresh donor milk became available, in a way temporarily providing breast milk to babies who were separated from their mothers. Addressing the need for the availability of safe donor milk among our patients, she created the Philippine-made human milk pasteurizer in close collaboration with experts from Advanced Science and Technology Institute in UP Diliman. The evolution of this pasteurizer took 2 years, after which in 1998, human milk banking became a reality in PCMC and in the Philippines, with daily operations following guidelines set by the Human Milk Banking Association of North America. Unknown to or forgotten by many, it was GBR, as we fondly call her, who lobbied for the mother-baby friendly law, which became the Expanded Breastfeeding Promotion Act 2009, or Republic Act 128, requiring the setting up of clean, private, and well-ventilated breastfeeding stations in workplaces. She likewise lobbied for the inclusion of early education on breastfeeding in the DepEd curriculum. In 1915, under her invaluable guidance, the Manual of Operations for all human milk banks in the country was published. Through the years, she has witnessed the fruits of her advocacy. Number 1, we see the increased survival of the very low birth weight patients in the hospital, their shortened hospital days, and faster tolerance of enteral feedings. Number 2, she has witnessed likewise the establishment of more milk banks in the country. And the third, there is increased percentage of women initiating and sustaining breastfeeding. She has remained an active researcher, charter member and fellow of the Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine, an honorary director of the Philippine Children's Medical Center Human Milk Bank, and advisor of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. Today, we salute her for her foresight, dedication, and trailblazing spirit. Friends and colleagues, it is my distinct honor to introduce an esteemed mentor, Dr. Gloria Baenz Ramirez.
To the woman inventor of the human milk pasteurizer. The Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, Inc. presents this plaque of appreciation to Dr. Gloria Baenz Ramirez, selfless guidance, and her ultimate compassion for the premature and the sick newborn. Signed today. Thank you.
Once again, a rousing round of applause for Dr. Gloria B. Ramirez, together with our distinguished guests,
and also board members of this prestigious association. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the most exciting part of our event because this is the opening of our exhibit area. I'd like to request Dr. Estrella Olonan Husi, Dr. Sheila Ann Masangkay, also the board members of the Human Milkbank Association of the Philippines, our distinguished guests, Director Ruby Constantino, past District Governor Ray C. David, and of course, Dr. Gloria Ramirez, to kindly proceed to the registration area to facilitate the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Our next speaker is equally accomplished. She's a medical specialist 4 who has been with San Lazaro Hospital for the past 20 years. She's a diplomate and fellow of the Philippine Academy for Family Physicians, a diplomate and fellow of the Philippine Society for Microbiologists and Infectious Disease, likewise a diplomate and fellow for Venereologists, Inc. She holds 3 masteral degrees on clinical and tropical medicine from Mahidol University, Bangkok. Likewise, another master's degree on hospital administration and another master's degree in public safety administration. She's presently department head, public health office, San Lazaro Hospital, a position which she has held since 2013. And for those of you who would like to listen to her other lectures in the future, she's a resource speaker for the following topics: schistosomiasis, dengue, meningococcemia, rabies, filariasis, leptospirosis, malaria, TB men, emerging and re-emerging infectious diseases, diphtheria, snakebite, tetanus, fever of unknown origin, common parasitic infections. Kinat short niya po ako, pero madami pa po. It's my distinct honor to present to you Dr. Nympha M. Putong.
So good morning po once again. I am Dr. Nympha Putong. I am an infectious disease specialist and a newborn advocate for the Mother Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative, inspired and mentored by Dr. Star, and challenged as well because this is a very last minute invitation. My indulgence, please. So the topic is the mother, the baby, and the HIV. HIV transmission and breastfeeding. We have 3 objectives for this morning. First is to present what HIV is and its situation, both local and global. Second, we will discuss an overview of the HIV transmission during breastfeeding. We'll discuss about the risk factors and the timing of transmission. We'll also discuss U equals U. This is undetectable. Is it equal to untransmittable? Because a low risk of transmission does not mean zero transmission. Third, we will understand the optimal feeding based on guidelines. So this is versus CDC and other guidelines from developed countries versus WHO, UNICEF, and the national guidelines. We'll also talk about exclusive breastfeeding for resource-limited countries and exclusive bottle feeding for research-risk countries, and only if bottle feeding is acceptable, feasible, affordable, safe, and sustainable in certain countries that have limited resources. So, what is HIV?
HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It works by attacking the immune system, the very thing that stops.
So, do you remember po who this person is? Sarah Jane Salazar, no? Way back mga late 1990s, known then for the HIV/AIDS. So, AIDS is defined as a disease of the human immune system caused by the human immunodeficiency virus. And this is a condition that progressively reduces the effectiveness of the immune system that leaves individuals susceptible to opportunistic infections, the most common of which is tuberculosis. And as we know, TB speeds up the spread of HIV speeds up the spread of TB, while TB is the leading cause of death among HIV/AIDS patients. So, HIV/AIDS is one of the most destructive global pandemics in history. As of 2017, approximately 37 million people are living with HIV globally. So, konting test lang po. Which of the following, okay, is an HIV virus? Is it A, is it B, or is it C? Sino pong nagsabi ng C? Tataas nga po ng kamay. C, C. C po. Kanina meron na wala. C, wala talaga. A. B, may nagsabi. Ayan. A po, A. A muna. C. Wala talaga. And the correct answer is C po. Ang A po natin is hepatitis B virus. Ang C po natin is hepatitis C as in letter C. At ang letter B po ang ating HIV virus. Okay? So the Philippines is facing the fastest growing HIV epidemics in the Western Pacific with 174% increase in HIV incidence between 2010 and 2017. Nakakalungkot ay when I was doing my thesis on TB and HIV in Bangkok, Thailand, Thailand then was the leading country in terms of HIV, no? Pero ngayon po, nag-decrease na siya to less than 50%. How we wish that the HIV in the Philippines is decreasing as well. In less than 25 years from its first isolation, 1983, it has become the fourth leading cause of death globally. And the Philippines, therefore, is one of the fastest growing AIDS epidemic, not only in Asia, but also in Pacific region. 1 in every 4 new HIV infections is among youth age 13 to 24. So ito po yung tinatawag nating adventurous na age, kainata na edad, ano? And most of them do not know that they are infected. They are not being treated, and unknowingly, they are passing it to others. HIV, therefore, has become a youth epidemic, and 2/3 of new infection are coming from the young group, ages 15 to 25 years old. As the saying goes po, the younger the age, the bigger the trophy. The younger the age, the higher the chances of getting HIV. But also, we need to ensure the health and survival of infants. Again, we are not just after a free HIV transmission. We want to ensure the health and the survival of infants. Kasi hindi ka nga mamamatay ng HIV na around 20%. There is this silent killer of malnutrition in up to 60%, plus diarrhea and pneumonia. So choose the lesser evil. And this is referred to as HIV-free survival. Hindi po HIV-free, kundi HIV-free survival. We want to ensure health and we want to ensure survival of the baby. WHO supports mothers with HIV to breastfeed to ensure health and survival of the infants. But WHO guidelines focuses only on low and middle income countries. So this is the guidelines on HIV feeding. Ensure that exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months is protected, promoted, and supported with continued breastfeeding after 2 years and beyond. So optimal health and development. Promote timely, adequate, safe, and appropriate complementary feeding. 6 months pataas. Provide guidance on feeding infants and young children in exceptionally difficult circumstances, including infants of HIV-positive women. So WHO guidelines on HIV and infant feeding. WHO therefore recommends not to breastfeed when replacement feeding is acceptable, feasible, affordable, sustainable, and safe. AFAS. Using formula in low-resource setting causes more deaths than HIV because among such areas, they cannot afford to buy the formula and the formula they are using have less nutrients or none at all. WHO now recommends antiretroviral treatment throughout breastfeeding because the antiretroviral treatment can protect, but it also raises the safety issues. So the baby of HIV positive mother, in a resource-limited setting, baby should be tested for HIV at birth and again 4 to 6 weeks later. So 3 times pong gagawin ng HIV test for the baby. If the HIV test results for the baby is negative, repeat the test when the child turns 18 months and when the mother has finished breastfeeding in order to determine the baby's final status. So 3 times po, not just once or twice, but thrice. And it's very important to take the baby for this final HIV test to ensure the baby is HIV negative or to get the baby on treatment in case the baby is HIV positive. If any of these tests comes back positive, the baby will need to start treatment straight right away. Parang ganun kadali lang, positive, let's treat. Okay. Breast milk is one of the body's fluid that transmit HIV. Undetectable viral loads, that is viral suppression in blood, does not guarantee undetectable viral load in breast milk. There is a study conducted. This is a promised trial among more than 2,000 breastfeeding women and HIV and their infants both in Africa and in India. HIV transmission rates to babies were low, less than 1% a year after birth. Unfortunately, 2 of these more than 2,000 children, babies, however, acquired HIV from their mothers with undetectable viral loads. So if you were the mother, would you consider giving this? No?
Certificate of Appreciation. Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Nympha Putong for sharing her time and expertise as speaker for a scientific conference, Emerging Concerns and New Trends in Human Milk Banking. Signed, Dr. Sheila Masangkay and Dr. Husi. Thank you, Dr. Nympha.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Ako. I'm an OB-GYN infectious disease specialist and lactation consultant also. So I'm a member of the PIDSOG, the Philippine Infectious Disease Society of OBGYN. And we recently made a statement about HIV in pregnant women. So there's a small part there about breastfeeding. And the position of the PIDSOG is not to breastfeed. Because also there's I think in the Philippines, the strain of HIV is very virulent, unlike in other countries. So that's also the concern. But of course, we have to really explain to the parents, good counseling, because ultimately it's their choice. And it goes against the DOH policy, so it's a bit controversial because in the DOH, the recommendation is to continue to breastfeed as long as the viral load is undetectable. So is there a middle ground where the HIV positive mother with undetectable HIV viral load may treat her milk? She can express her own milk and then pasteurize it because it will kill the HIV virus. So maybe there's a middle ground.
Maybe, I think Dr. Star plans to do a research on such breast milk and the viral load on HIV.
No, because
Yeah,
diba,
she just mentioned
pasteurization will kill the HIV virus.
Yung sa OB infectious po for stating that there's a CPG by the OB/GYN infectious disease. I think the recommendation of the OBGYN is anchored on an existing CPG. I read about that, but if you look at it, when we develop CPGs, it has to be done among stakeholders and in consultation as well. So I have read that, and unfortunately, it did not conform to the processes necessary as far as to recommend it in the Philippine context. So that's why it is still controversial because it has not been reviewed. And it is not applicable to the country's concerns on addressing many other things. For example, non-HIV related mortality. So, and in the context of financial and economic implications of starting a family who probably would have no means of supporting nutrition for a child, not being dependent on milk formula, I think that will also have repercussions to the health and nutrition outcomes of the child. What we support is the HIV programs thrust to provide antiretroviral therapy. What we support is for all obstetricians, all midwife, all nurse midwife, all family physicians to encourage all women during the prenatal visits to have HIV testing and to start HIV antiretroviral therapy the soonest possible time. And if these infants born to HIV positive moms may continue to be exclusively breastfed but should be given already the retroviral treatment that they need. Now, if economics dictate that the woman has been informed properly, has consented that she will not breastfeed her child, then she has to be given all the facts, all the repercussions as far as this. But if we look into the majority of the Filipino population who may not even have access to clean and potable water, to also other medical interventions, mga far-flung areas, and they're using on this milk formula, I think the milk formula becomes more of a death sentence and not the HIV. Kasi you lose the immunoprotective properties from breast milk. That's also what we're after. And this is really a struggle right now because there seems to be a policy incoherence happening at the local government level. Social hygiene clinics are automatically saying to their clients that you're already HIV positive, you shouldn't be breastfeeding at all. And none of them have probably been trained on lactation management. I think we need to coexist together, infectious disease specialists, lactation support groups, trained breastfeeding counselors, to provide a very comprehensive counseling to them. But should the decision is to start milk formula, we have to be with them all throughout the child's continuum of care. Kasi the responsibility is not just saying that O ayaw ko magka-virus yung anak mo, ayaw mo bang magka-virus yung anak mo, huwag ka na lang magpasuso. It doesn't stop there eh. No? What about, sige, okay lang naman na maging malnourished ka, at least HIV-free ka. Do we solve the malnutrition problem of the child? Kasi wala namang pong pambili. I-dilute po niya yung milk formula. Or magtatain na lang po siya kasi yung pinagtitimpla ay tubig lang po. No? And there has even been no counseling at all on proper milk formula preparation. They think Absolute and Wilkins, I have no conflicts of interest with those products I mentioned, are the best options to mix the milk formula. Imagine a simple counseling on how to properly constitute milk formula for a formula feeding family. Nobody is even counseling that. And what more if you have an HIV positive mom who decided to milk formula? Do we go all throughout that? No? I think in developed countries, it's a misconception. No? The United States have very poor breastfeeding supportive policies. We should not be entirely trusting yung ganong statement. No? Marami pong Amerikano ang wala pong breastfeeding support. And the milk formula companies are really fighting for their existence in that country. No? I've met many PhilAms who go to the Philippines and they will say, wala kaming lactation break. Wala kaming maternity leave. No? Yung issues on supporting a woman na hindi siya kinakahiya na nagbe-breastfeed siya in public, wala silang gano'n. And do we expect the AAP to be the same, to give the same recommendations to a country like ours? We have laws. No? We have a very breastfeeding friendly environment. No? So I think it's not just a matter of looking at the disease itself, no? But let's look at the other dimensions on what the child will be. No? Alam ko po yung best interest of the child. No? And in this case, is being a virus-free interest really the best interest of the child? So I think yung po yun. But DOH would like, once and for all, to update that CPG. No? We have a national policy on developing clinical practice guidelines, and folks may probably consider obtaining that CPG guideline, manual on CPG guideline development. I-update na po natin siya. No? Let's not keep on citing that CPG because it's creating confusion among those who still want to breastfeed. No? And to be honest, nakita ko pa nga po itong rationale, Doktora, since the other ASEAN neighbors are not breastfeeding for their HIV positive women, then the Philippines should follow the same. Yun yung nabasa ko po itong statement. And sabi ko, ganun po ba ang pagre-recommenda natin? If we think that other neighboring countries are not breastfeeding because they have HIV positive, do we recommend the same thing because Singapore will do the same? Parang hindi po yata ganun yung aspeto po ng ginugusto po din natin. So, there's a new CPG-AO. There's a manual for developing new CPGs. And the law, RA 11223, also mentions that CPGs to be developed by the health sector have to follow these guidelines. So I think that's the stand of the national government. That's also the stand among our development partners, WHO and UNICEF. No? And I think even PPS po, no? Particularly the breastfeeding committee of PPS is also pushing for that. So, that if you will ask me how does the DOH look at this, no? We won't use those international guidelines from countries that will have very different environments at all. We follow WHO and UNICEF recommendations, no? And that's it. No? We're not saying that we're similar to Africa. No? We're not saying we're similar to Africa, no? But we do have a breastfeeding environment that actually is more supportive to our mothers and to their children.
He is a holder of a master's degree of science, health systems management from the Philippine Women's University Graduate School. I would just like to mention from his many affiliations and work, I'll just mention the two busy experiences. He is presently Officer in Charge, Chief, Children's Health Development Division of Disease Prevention and Control Bureau of the Department of Health, where he oversees the development of overarching strategic and financial plans on child survival, child development, disability and injury prevention, infant and young child feeding, operationalization of the strategic framework for comprehensive nutrition implementation 2014 to 2025, and the health sector program components of the Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition 2017 to 2022. He likewise supervises the different technical officers handling children's programs on health, early child development, children with disability, protection and nutrition. He chairs technical working groups on maternal and newborn health, infant and young child feeding, management of moderate and severe acute malnutrition and oral health. He engages team members in budget preparation and review, and leads a team in monitoring the budget utilization and disbursements of funds of the division and provides period status updates. Hindi ka pala pwedeng magpakulang-kulang kay Dr. Anthony. And another position which he has held for almost a decade. He is the National Newborn Care Program Manager of DOH and likewise the Infant and Young Child Feeding Program Manager, where he is responsible for the development of health policies, programs, strategies, and plans to reduce newborn deaths, improve newborn survival, and overall quality of care for all newborns and infants. If you remember, he is always at the helm of maternal and newborn care programs. He supervises the conduct of stakeholders' consultative meeting on the development of national policies on essential maternal and newborn care, mother-baby friendly hospital initiative, and quality of care for small babies, preterm, small for gestational age, and low birth weight infants. He is responsible for the development of health policies, programs, strategies, and plans to improve breastfeeding initiation, increase exclusive breastfeeding rates for 6 months, improve introduction of appropriate complementary feeding from 6 months onward, with continued breastfeeding, human milk banking, and infant and young child feeding in emergencies and disasters. Friends and colleagues, I'm honored to welcome Dr. Anthony Calibo, who will talk on National Human Milk Bank policies.
It's a pleasure to be with colleagues and friends here at the first scientific conference on human milk banking in the Philippines, and of course, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to the officers and staff of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. This is one of the few regional organizations found in ASEAN right now supporting the practice of human milk banking. Of course, the President, Dr. Star Lucy, and of course the advisors, Dr. Ramirez, and other pillars of human milk banking in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. This is a task requested for us, DOH, to present national human milk bank policies. So, sabi ko nga kay Ma'am Bessie, my predecessor for IYCF, sabi ko, hindi ko yata magagawa mag-present, no? Daming pinapagawa sa central office. Malakas si Ma'am Bessie kaya pinagbigyan na natin, po. Hindi pwedeng hindi, yun po. And of course, ito rin po ay opportunity for us to cascade relevant policies coming in from the government right now. And I'm happy that Director Constantino was able to bridge in strategic directions coming in from the Secretary. There were several Philippine plans of action for nutrition in the previous years, but this PPAN for 2017, I would say it is different from the past Philippine Plan of Action for Nutrition because IYCF has been considered as a key nutrition-specific program. No? Wala po yan sa mga nakaraang PPAN kung hahanap ninyo sa internet. No? Good luck. No? Pero ito po, pinaglaban po ng DOH na bigyan ng emphasis ang IYCF as a nutrition-specific program. No? Pag sinabi natin nutrition-specific program, ito po yung nilalaman po ng PIPAN na drivers po para ma-achieve po yung goals and targets na gustong makamit ng PIPAN. No? So, nung panahon pa po nung ni Ma'am Betsy, ang breastfeeding po ay sinama lang sa nutrition education. No? So, yun ho yung sinasabi niya lang. Anyway, pag IYCF, breastfeeding promotion lang naman yan. No? Yun yung word na ginagamit before nung mga naging involved sa PIPAN. But this PIPAN, when it was developed, we really pushed the agenda that don't just combine it with nutrition, education, or breastfeeding promotion, but rather look at it also as a very systematic program that needs a whole of government and assistance approach. In Section 10 of the original law, okay, the RA 128 amended this to be read as follows. No? Ito po yung Chapter 2 on Human Milk Bank found in the RA 7600, provision of facilities for breast milk collection and storage for health institutions. So yan po yung nilalaman po ng RA 7600 as amended by RA 128. Where does milk banking come in? In the provisions of the law, health institutions are likewise encouraged to set up milk banks for storage of breast milk donated by mothers and which have undergone pasteurization. The stored breast milk would be primarily be given to children in the neonatal intensive care unit whose own mothers are seriously ill. So yan po yung laman po nung RA 7600 na inamendahan po nung RA 128. What else? No? If you look at the IRR of RA 128, in Rule 4, milk storage and milk banking in health institution, it further described what would be milk storage and milk banking in health institutions would be. So, dinagdag po ito sa IRR to clarify. So, what are milk storage facility? What are milk banks? Defined areas of the milk bank, minimal equipment and structures, milk bank certification or accreditation by the DOH, source of donor human milk, and availment of pasteurized human milk. So, IRR po yan. These provisions are not found in RA 128, but the IRR expands them for better clarity and understanding of the reader. So, yung po yun. No? The PDF file is still in the internet. No? Pwede nyo po yung ma-download. No? Pediatricians, OB, gynaes, midwives, nurses, family med, no? Municipal health officers. It's one of the most popular laws ngayon, no, na napag-uusapan po ito. Now, what is RA 11148? Mahaba yung pangalan no? Scaling up, health and nutrition for maternal, newborn, child health strategy, mga ganyan po siya, no? In the first 1,000 days of life. No? So, yan po, in other terminologies, they're labeling this as the first 1,000 days law, no? But DOH would like to emphasize not to call it directly as the first 1,000 days law because the simplified law is kalusugan at nutrisyon na Magnanay Act. No? Because we want to make sure that this will not be subject to opportunistic influence of industries. No? Because admittedly, the first 1,000 days, kinopya din po yan ng kilala na po ninyo sila. No? So, we don't want this to be called as first 1,000 days law kasi that will legitimize some of these industries' attempt, no, to downplay the importance really of breastfeeding in the first 1,000 days. Chapter 2 on universal healthcare, it talks of several coverages. Section 5 is on population coverage, Section 6 is service coverage, and Section 7 would be on financial coverage. Now, what is Section 5? Population coverage means lahat po ng Pilipino ay under ng isang health insurance program. Diba? Yung nababalitaan po natin na ilang porsyento ng mga Pilipino ang insured ng PhilHealth. Diba? Yung po yun. So, population coverage po ang ibig sabihin po. No? Lahat tayo ay part po ng PhilHealth. No? So, yun po, population coverage. Pag sinabi naman po natin service coverage, lahat ng klase ng serbisyo ay dapat na ibibigay sa bawat Pilipino. Naku, para akong pang kandidato ng Senado, no? Yun. So, ano po ito? Pwede pong preventive, pwede pong promotive, pwedeng curative, pwedeng rehabilitative. Service coverage po yun. No? Ibig sabihin, dapat lahat may access ka. No? And then yung financial coverage ay, sino po ang magbabayad? Medyo klaro na po ba kung anong ibig sabihin? No? So, pag sinabi po natin population-based health services, ito po ay pupondohan ng lokal na pamahalaan or ng national government. Halimbawa, ang pag-uusapan po dyan, yung pagbili ng kontrabulate. Sino ang gagastos? Si DOH ba? O pwede nang si Provincial Health Office? Or si Municipal Health Office? No? O paano po yung pang-antibiotic pag may pulmonya yung bata? Sino po ang gagastos? No? Yan ba ay pang-individual na tao o pang-maramihan? No? So yun po yung pinagkakaiba ng population-based and individual health services. No? So dyan po kasi papasok na yung population-based ay public financing, yung individual-based babayaran po ng PhilHealth or ng inyong HMO kasi individual na. No? Halimbawa, ako po ay may alta presyon, gusto ko pong magpa-executive check-up, no? Individual yun, diba? So, yun po yun. Tsaka iniiwasan po dito yung double payment. Halimbawa, si DOH bumili ng anti-TB drugs. Diba po? Tapos, may TB DOTS package ang PhilHealth. Diba? Parang nakinabang yung facility, binayaran siya ng PhilHealth, pero wala naman siyang ginastos kasi yung gamot ng TB, ang bumili naman nun, DOH. So, kumita ka pa. Diba? Parang ganun yung dating. So, iniiwasan po nila yung ganung aspeto. Sabi ko sa inyo, mga pera-pera, delikado yan eh, no? Basta magsweldo na lang tayo, ano? Okay. Ito po yata yung gustong marinig, no, natin lahat, no? Meron pong binuong draft national guidelines on the establishment, operation, and regulation of human milk banking in the Philippines. No? So draft pa po ito. Wala pa po tayong maibibigay na PDF file, no? But this is still subject to review. I mentioned we have to align it with the new Republic Acts issued already. But this has been a long overdue AO. Kasi yung RA 7600 amended by RA 128, nakalagay kasi doon, the DOH has to issue guidelines on human milk banking. No? And of course, the Philippine Committee on Human Milk Banking just released the Manual of Operations. No? But it's not a policy na AO level. So kaya po ito na pag-usapan na kailangan gawin. No? For several years yung po siya. No? So what is the goal? Contribute to the reduction of preventable mortalities among newborns and infants who lack access to breast milk and its unique nutritious qualities that largely contribute to their development. And the general objective is to provide policy, strategic, and regulatory framework to guide the establishment and operation of human milk banks and human milk bank networks in the country. So ito po yung general objective po niya. I didn't put here the scope, but it covers both private and government facilities should they want to develop a milk bank, no? Or to become part of the human milk bank network. No? Specific objectives. So, provide evidence-based and standardized protocols in establishing human milk banks and human milk banking networks in areas where these are mostly needed to temporarily serve the needs of newborn infants who are sick or critically ill, preterm, weighing less than 2.5, SGA with surgical conditions separated from their mothers, and in events of emergencies and disasters where it's difficult to directly access mother's own breast milk or breast milk from other mothers. No? Provide assessment, certification, and monitoring guidelines. Provide guidelines for social mobilization and community involvement And letter D, provide guidelines for preparedness and response to emergencies and disasters. No? So ito po yung specific objectives po niya. Okay. Letter C provides guidelines for social mobilization and community involvement. It seeks to sustain the supply side. No? Kasi parang saan kayo kukuha ng breast milk? No? So supposedly it still is community-based. No? I think PCMC is doing this model. Okay? But there are some hospitals who are using internal patients, no, as their source. No? So, ang inaano natin dito, it may be a hybrid, no, but definitely the community has to support as well. No? So, yun po ito. Next would be yung preparedness and response. We mentioned about that earlier on. But letter B is a bit touchy, no? Kasi certification process. No? And when we refer this to the Health Facility Services Regulatory Bureau, hindi sila ready. No? They don't want to take on the licensing aspect. No? So they said, for the meantime, we would like the program to handle this, and probably in the future, i-transition na part na siya ng licensing, no, na work nila. But this is still a work in progress and in discussion with them. I will focus on the organization structure. So this involves the local service delivery network at the field level. So yun po yan. And of course, lactation stations in communities. There's a terminology used here, donor human milk depots. No? So yun po yung ginamit nila. And of course, health facilities, especially hospitals with level 2 or 3 service capability are encouraged to become human milk bank facilities. So ito po yung draft figure na pinakita din po dun sa AO. This was discussed also with several members of the Philippine Committee on Human Milk Banking. So it's a bottoms-up approach from community all the way up, no, to the human milk bank. There are ongoing discussions with the Health Facility Development Bureau, and this is right now resource facility mapping from primary facilities to what they call as national specialty centers. No? So as you go up the hierarchy, it leads you to a perinat neonat center. No? But of course, there are what we call as comprehensive plus capable hospitals, meaning they may serve multiple regions at the same time. And there are also regional hospitals who will serve confined areas within their region. So ano po dito is, ang old term nila, Apex Hospital. Have you heard of this? No? Ginamit nilang words to before, Apex Hospital. So among them, I think PCMC is being groomed, no? To be officially labeled as an Apex Hospital or the National Specialty Center, and the rest may follow depending on the capability. Now, I have to mention that because human milk banking is integral to those capabilities. No? And take note that it's not just neonatal capability but also perinatology capability as well. No? So, kailangan together po yun. And even for provincial hospitals, at least a functioning departmentalized obstetrics. Kailangan may Department of OB para maganda yung complementation ng neonatology, pediatric capability and OBGYN capability. So dito po yung papasok. So if you look at it, swak po yung number 4 item sa sinabi po ng RA 11148, di ba? Strategic level 2 and level 3 hospitals. Now, there's a Philippine National Committee on Human Milk Banking. This is still subject to style. No? Yung words kasi parang redundant. Philippine na national pa. So, pardon the redundancy, pero draft pa naman po kasi ito. And this aims to assemble a multi-sectoral, multidisciplinary group that merges the health sector with other government agencies, private sector, academic and professional societies, among others, that shall spearhead dissemination, implementation, and regular update of the Manual of Operations, composed of facility-based and community-based guidelines consistent with each other. It shall review applications for the Certificate of Accreditation for human milk banks in terms of compliance to infra, human resource, operation standards alongside with the Health Facility Development Bureau. So ito po, situated within the DOH confines. DOH will sit as chair, and of course, part of that would be yung technical team po natin. And we're aiming that for every regional office, there's a counterpart. No? Kasi hindi naman po pwede lahat ng taga Metro Manila, pupunta ho siya ng lahat po ng regions. Parang hindi po yun efficient, di ba? Maghihintay ka pa ng papeles, padadala mo pa sa Manila lang para lang matapos. So, we're envisioning that. This is like the MPFHI assessment. Di po ba pag lang COC, kaya na pong gawin ng DOH Regional Office or Center for Health Development. And kapag Certificate of Accreditation na, binabato po ng CHD sa Central Office, and si Sec Duque po yung nagsasign ng Certificate of Accreditation. So parang ganun po ito. This is not yet cast in stone. It's still subject to recommendations, no? And we're happy to hear your thoughts about this as well. So I think that's the end of the presentation, no? Wala akong wala siyang panghuling slide, but I hope that the presentation gives updates, understanding on overall framework, relevant laws related, and policies to human milk banking. So again, congratulations to all of you, and mabuhay po ang inyong bagong association.
Certificate of Appreciation. Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Anthony Calibo for sharing his time and expertise as speaker for scientific conference, Emerging Concerns and New Trends in Human Milk Banking at the Century Park Hotel, given this 30th day of July 2019 in Manila, Philippines, signed myself and Dr. Estrella Olonan Husi.
Sabi natin, check na yon. Is there enough funding to get started? Funding, di ba? May mga donors na rin kayo? O sabihin natin, yes, check. Establish, there's a need for the establishment of a human milk bank. Meron pang need? Yes, yes. So meron bang funding? Yes. Na-order niyo na ba yung equipments? Yes? Okay. So now what's missing? What is missing? Ha? Ano na lang kulang? So ang kulang ay kayo. So what is missing is you. Kasi it depends on you, on how you are going to go about the establishment of the human milk bank. Okay? So the challenge now is, are you ready to set up a human milk bank? Yes. Pang mahina? Yes. Okay. Yes daw. Medyo hindi ganun kalakas. Kasi medyo may kaunti pang kulang. Funding. Okay. So, meron po bang mga questions? Are there any questions? Comments or concerns? If none, thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, Star, for providing us the guidelines in the establishment and sustaining a human milk bank. So now you know, it's not easy, no, to set up a milk bank. So for those of you who have already a milk bank, I'm sure most of you have already encountered problems and concerns, particularly with regards to supply, no, and also the resources and support, especially from your admin, no. So it's really very important that before you want to establish a milk bank, your hospital is already accredited as a mother baby friendly hospital, no, because that will help you sustain, no, the operations, no, of your milk bank in your respective hospital. And for those of you who are about to start, no, establishing a milk bank, so you now know that it's very important that you have the champion. No? You have to have the manpower, the resources, the space, and all of the things that Dr. Star mentioned a while ago. And yung challenge nga niya is for us to be specifically, no, diba, tayo, no, as champions of breastfeeding. So the challenge is on us, no, that before we want to establish a milk bank or to sustain the establishment of your specific milk banks, we have to have support, no? Kaya yung community is very important because it's not, parang you have the institution has the milk bank but walang laman, no? You don't have the supply, no? Sustainability is very important. And later on, no, in our next lecture, no, we will be talking about safety. So while the people here are setting up, no, or nag-aayos, no, as far as our mga kinain is concerned, let's all stand muna, no, para medyo, kasi yung holy hour ngayon, let's stand, no, hindi tayo mag-zumba, no, hindi ako marunong magsayaw. To Dr. Australia J. Olonon Husi for sharing her time and expertise as speaker during the first scientific conference on emerging concerns and new trends in human milk bank, even at this day at this hotel, and signed by the chair of the scientific committee and the president.
Deep sa camera ako. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
So as I said a while ago, it's not only the supply, no, that is very important in establishing and sustaining a milk bank. The safety, of course, is another concern. So to give us the lecture on the introduction on the hazard analysis and critical control points for the human milk bank, we'd like to call on my colleague, Dr. Faye De Ocampo. She's also a neonatologist, a medical specialist at the Jose Pabella Memorial Hospital and the Mandaluyong Hospital, and has several and marami tong hospital association affiliations. No? So to give us the lecture on HACCP, let's all welcome and give a warm up applause to Dr. Faye De Ocampo.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ma'am Mayor. So a while ago, Dr. Star asked you if you are ready to have human milk bank, and kahit na mahina, narinig ko, sabi niyo yes. Tama ba? Yes. Yan, malakas na kasi nag-exercise sa yung paa. So the next question is, how do we make sure that we produce a safe and high quality human milk for our recipients? No? So this is just an introduction on hazard analysis and critical control points plan for the human milk bank. And this is our objective, no? To understand the importance of food safety in human milk banking, to understand the objectives of the hazard analysis and critical control points, and to understand and identify why HACCP is important for human milk banking. So my reference for this lecture, I got from a resource toolkit for establishing and integrating human milk bank programs published by PATH, hot off the press. Parang May 2019 ba, Ma'am Star? Pinublish itong PATH na toolkit, no? So, bagong-bago pa. So, we all know that mother's own milk, or MOM, is very important in the infant survival and health and provides the optimal nutrition for growing infants. But we all know that some babies still cannot access that mother's own milk. So they opted to be given the donor human milk. And these are the benefits of having donor human milk. Better neurodevelopmental outcomes, decreased risk of sepsis, decreased risk of necrotizing enterocolitis and feeding intolerance, decreased length of stay in the NICU, improved breastfeeding rates, and direct cost savings. Of course, mas mabilis silang di-discharge from the hospital, lesser infection. So, overall, mas may savings, cost-effective yung treatment natin. So, the human milk bank is just a temporary thing, no? It fills a gap, no, for the infant who need mom but do not have access at that time, no? So, hindi siya yung long-term solution if the infant cannot access her or his own mother's milk, no? It recruits breast milk donors, it collects donated milk, then processes it, screen, store, and distribute the milk to meet the individual needs for each infant. This morning we had a very good talk on HIV in terms of human milk banking. Naturally, the human milk contains more than 200 different species of bacteria. So hindi siya sterile, no? Including lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, and it varies individually. So why do we need to pasteurize the milk, no? So we pasteurize the milk to ensure safety, first of all, of the donor human milk. It lowers or mitigates the risk of potential hazards from pathogenic bacteria, viruses, and fungi. It inactivates viruses, fungus, and pathogenic bacteria, and it limits negative impact on the human milk's protective elements. So first three is the safety, and then the last yung quality, no? So limit on the protective elements of the human milk, including proteins, antibodies, and vitamins. Physical, no? Example of biological hazards are yung mga bacteria, fungi, viruses that can be seen or detected in the milk. Yung chemical hazards may be alcohol, amphetamines, cocaine, heroin, marijuana. So, yung mommy, meron pala, gumagamit pala siya ng mga, mga yan, na hindi natin na-detect, no? Which can also be detected dun sa milk niya. Physical na hazards, glass, no, na-chip off pala yung yung bote nyo for pasteurization, plastic, metal, wood, hair, insects, no? So nakikita talaga natin yan when we examine yung product natin. No? So how do we conduct a hazard analysis, no? So conducting a hazard analysis breaks the hazard analysis procedure into 3 steps, no? And applying these steps sequentially can ensure hazards are not omitted, no? So step 1, you identify the potential hazard, no? So list each step of the collection, processing, storage, and distribution of human milk, and identify all the hazards, no? Biological, chemical, and physical. So uupuan nyo talaga. You have to think of the possible hazards, potential hazards dun sa product mo na pwede magkaroon. So, example, the following questions can help your HACCP team determine whether a hazard exists at the human milk bank. So, could the raw milk contain pathogenic microorganisms, toxins, chemicals, or physical hazards? So, you evaluate the transmission of microorganisms, infections, toxins, and chemical hazards from a mother to her milk. Yung kanina, we talked about yung HIV transmissions from the mother to the milk. Could contaminants reach the product during the step, no? So, evaluate personal hygiene. Nasa kamay pala yung bacteria, hindi pala siya nagugas. Contaminated pala yung equipment or material. And potential cross-contamination from raw material. So, hindi pala separate yung freezer ng raw material from the pasteurized na human milk, no? So, during the step, could a microorganism of concern multiply to a level where it is considered a hazard, no? So, hindi pala na-monitor yung temperature ng refrigerator. So, mataas pala, nasira, mainit, di ba? Na-thaw na yung milk. So, it can also be a potential hazard. So, you design an effective monitoring system, no? So, dalawa yung apat. Therefore, questions of monitoring systems answer. What is being monitored? What are the procedures for monitoring? How should monitoring be performed? And who is responsible for monitoring? So what is being monitored? So maraming components yung HMB process and can and should be monitored to determine compliance with a critical limit. No? Examples, measurements and observations of temperature and time of thermal process, temperature and time of cold storage, visual examination of a storage container or pasteurization process, serological screening, and microbiological testing. Second, what are the procedures for monitoring? No? It should provide real-time results and should avoid lengthy analysis procedure. And monitoring equipment use depends on your facilities and capacity and methods of screening donors and treating donated milk. So these are some of the monitoring equipment, yung timer, microbiological cultures, serological tests, phosphate test, titratable acidity test, bright green bile, 2% lactose test. Medyo madugo talaga siya and we need time para po muni-muni in our unit kung ano talaga yung ilalagay natin dun sa HACCP plan. So, Ma'am Star, we are planning to have the training on the HACCP in human milk banking, no? Baka next year na siguro, in the future. So, I hope na open yung minds niyo about the HACCP plan or the HACCP plan for the human milk banking. So, thank you very much.
She is the current secretary of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. Kaya siya yung mga nangungulit sa inyo, di ba? During the time that we are getting your attendance to this conference. So let me call back Dr. Faye De Ocampo and Dr. Masangkay, the chair of the scientific committee, and of course Dr. Astar as the president of the Human Milk Bank. Last but not the least, we're reserving the best for last. So yung mga tinawag kanina ni Dr. Faye, yun lang ang pwedeng pumunta doon, but the rest, please stay because this is another important lecture, because lately our country has been visited by a lot of super typhoon, hindi lang ordinary typhoon, like if you remember mga Ondoy, di ba? Sendong, and lastly, I think the last one that we have is Pablo, Anong pangalan? Falcon, yeah. So these typhoons really created a lot of havoc to the country, and I think we need protocols, and that's the importance of having the service delivery networks so that we will be able to coordinate, Hindi natin alam kung saan tayo pupunta, or sinong tatawagan, So the SOPs regarding this how to coordinate, in cases or in times of typhoons and disasters, so that our donor human milk can be provided, to these disaster-prone areas. So to give us this lecture is none other than Miss Vicente Borja. She's the lone nurse. Ay, Vicenta pala. Vicenta. Sorry, Mama. Sorry. She's the lone nurse, the officers of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines is as what we have seen, She has a lot of credentials in her name. And I'd like just to emphasize that she is the current Vice President for the Plans and Programs of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines, the Project Coordinator of the Human Milk Bank Network for Southeast Asia. She is a retired na siya, hindi retired man, di ba? Retired employee of the Department of Health, because she is the one in charge, as was mentioned also by Dr. Canibo. She's the former National Program Manager of the IYCF of the Department of Health. She's also an international course director and trainer of IYCF Counseling and a trainer facilitator of the Human Milk Bank LMT of infant feeding and emergencies. And she has already attended several international courses. And to name a few, she's also one with us when we attended the Human Milk Bank training at UK. So without further ado, I'd like to call back a friend, a colleague, and a staunch advocate of breastfeeding, Miss Vicenta Ma'am Bessie Borja.
Thank you, Dr. Amel. Maybe you noticed that I'm the only one with that, yung curriculum vitae na projected there. Do you know why? This explains, talagang ang nurses, they always follow doctor's order. In our chat group, sabi ni Dr. Mel, please send me your CV, yung mga ganyan-ganyan. Nagmamadali naman ako, gawa agad ako. Only to realize that the doctors did not do their job. So na-realize ko, talagang ang mga nurses, they always follow doctor's order. But it also explains, it also shows that not all doctors follow the doctors of their colleagues. Di tama po ba yun? Ayan. So July is a disaster awareness month. So hindi pa tayo nahuhuli, no, for this session. So my topic is ensuring supply of breast milk in emergency. How I wish the President will also mandate all mothers to breastfeed their babies. Sana gano'n, no? Just like what the local government now are being asked to clean up Metro Manila mga streets and roads. Sana gano'n, ano? Siguro kung gano'n, sigurado na hindi tayo mawawalan ng ating supply of milk. So we have discussed breastfeeding this morning a lot. And under normal condition, of course, a mother breastfeeds her baby after delivery. And she shall continue to breastfeed her baby exclusively for the first 6 months of life, and with addition of complementary food starting at 6 months, while continuing breastfeeding up to 2 years of age or beyond. And that is the government policy. And I know that is clear to everyone. No? Especially I know that most of you, if not all of you, have attended lactation management training, maybe the 20-hour course or the 40-hour course. Okay, but sometimes unexpected situation occur that may affect the normal breastfeeding behavior of a mother and her baby. This is when we have to ensure that breast milk supply be made available during emergency or disaster situation. Okay. Disaster of all types happens anywhere in the world that affects the lives and living condition of the population. And we have seen this. We have experienced this. So where do you think the people will get their food? Where will they get clean water for drinking? Where will they boil water to ensure that it is safe for drinking? The only nice thing we heard after the disaster was that, nandito siguro yung hospital na yun, no, we received news that many mothers were breastfeeding and their babies did not experience starvation. Ito yung sa Yolanda. Doon sa Ondoy, may artista who came out, no, telling us that, I'm glad. Naalala nyo, sino yan? No, hindi si Christine Reyes. Is that Christine Reyes? Siya yung bago. Oo. During Ondoy. Kasi lumabas siya talaga because she was breastfeeding her baby, kaya sabi niya, my baby did not starve. That was 1 year old, more than a year old baby. Gladys. Hindi Christine, that was Gladys Reyes. So, si Gladys yun. Oo, kasi ganun sila, they were affected. So, naka-survive yung anak niya because she was breastfeeding. And the baby is more than a year old already and she's still breastfeeding her baby. So, hindi tayo nagtayo ng human milk bank just to provide breast milk to those mothers who cannot breastfeed their babies. Because we need breast milk supply. And it is only abundant when mother breastfeeds her baby on demand and as long as the baby wants. Breastfeeding or suckling stimulates milk production. So the more frequent a mother breastfeeds, the more she produces breast milk. The extra supply of breast milk can be collected and kept in safe storage with appropriate temperature to prevent spoilage. Yan. So, yung extra milk that was produced by a mother for her baby, ito yung mga extra ha, we don't say that we just get breast milk from the mother. What we are saying is the extra milk, no, produced by the mother can be donated or shared with other babies of consenting mother. So, don't forget that mother should always be informed if we will be giving her milk other than the mother, her own mother's, her own milk to her infant. In the past emergencies, we were able to mobilize partner NGOs, private companies like government institutions, medical and allied health professionals on the ground. No? Access to BDM can be facilitated with the help of these organizations or individual interested parties. Minsan kasi meron isang tao lang interested eh. No, when I was in the Department of Health, there was a nurse from Canada. No, she wants to donate. Kaya sabi ko, mahirap namang i-donate yung gatas niya papunta rito. That was during Ondoy. No? May mga ganon talaga coming from Australia, no, coming from other countries. And prevent or minimize the unnecessary use of infant formula. So, wag nyo nang itanong, pwede bang tumanggap ng infant formula during disaster? Hindi nga po. Kaya nga po, ito rin yung naging dahilan why we want all regions to establish human milk bank. Para ma-minimize natin yan. Kasi, it is not just about survival, but it's also about having healthy children even after the emergency. Okay? So, let's do it by example. Kaya ba natin? Yes. Because we can. We really can. Kaya? So we can do it by example? Sure?
Dr. Star, Dr. Masangkay for the awarding of our Certificate of Appreciation. So it's the same certificate that will be awarded to our applause. Awaited, presentations of the different human milk banks, I think this is very important because we will be able to share, our experiences, even our concerns, and this will be a way by which we can also give feedbacks, or share our best practices, even our concerns, of each individual milk banks. So I think you already draw lots, as far as the presentations. 6 milk banks signify their intention to present, God Memorial Hospital. Number 3, Taguig Pateros District Hospital. Number 4, the Medical City. Number 5, Justice Jose Abad Santos General Hospital. And number 6, St. Luke's Medical City, Quezon City. Wala po itong order, hindi ito by beauty, hindi by dito seniority. Wala pong best and last, But this is, nag-relax po sila. And this will be a work, the snacks are already being served, So, para in the interest of time, we're giving you 10 minutes, pwede? 10 minutes, 10 to 15 at the most for each presentation. Then please, if you still have time, we will reserve the question and answer later after all the presentations of the different milk banks. And lastly, later on, before you will get your certificate, after the oath taking, of all the new members, individual members, and the new institutions, milk banks, we want your suggestions and comments, Kasi this is the first scientific conference, and of course, we hope and pray we'll be having more, So siguro mas malaki na yon, and we need your comments and suggestions. So before you leave, please, submit kahit na lang kasi wala kaming evaluation form. Just put it in a piece of paper. Your comments and suggestions will mean a lot, for our future conferences. So I hope you already gave your presentations, to the doctors here. So hindi ko na kayo tatawagin. You have your own representatives. Please introduce yourselves na lang, and your hospital. Okay? So thank you.
Medical Center. This is formerly the Batangas Regional Hospital. It's located at Kumintang, Ibaba, Batangas City. So the landmarks, the provincial capital, the Philippine National Red Cross, Batangas City Chapter, Lyceum of the Philippines, University of Batangas, Batangas Provincial Community Park, and the Kumintang Ibaba Barangay Hall. So we have also the preventive and corrective maintenance of equipment quarterly or as need arises. Our summer of activity, we started June 2017. We had 40 donors, and we collected 50,770 milk, and then pasteurized for 47,350, and we had a recipient inpatient of 75 and 18 patient outpatient recipient. Then 2019, we had 119 donors, and we collected milk of 141,887, and pasteurized with 98,100, with a recipient of 156 patients, inpatient, and 35 outpatient. As of January 2019 to June 2019, we have 40 donors, and the amount of milk collected was 53,870 ml, and pasteurized was 28,300 ml, and the inpatient recipient was 86 patients, and outpatient 20.
Medical Center. No, so sino susunod, no? Malaking hamon to, no? Let's go. Proceed, no? Ay, yung Batangas Medical Center bumunot ng token doon. So let's now proceed to JBL.
Wala po akong inindang sayaw. Kanta lang. Joke lang. So I'm Dr. Weng Vergara po from Pampanga. So I'll be sharing with you our experience from Human Milkbank Jose Bilingan Memorial Regional Hospital. So our mission and vision, every infant in the region will receive the best possible start in life by breastfeeding or receiving safe donor human milk. Our mission is improve the health and survival of critically ill infants through the safe provision of pasteurized donor milk. So we are located in the map of the Philippines. Nasa Central Luzon po kami, Region 3. So we are located at the 5th floor, Pedro Obigay Building, MacArthur Highway, Dolores, San Fernando, Pampanga. So pwede niyo po siyang i-wave.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Joannes Petalvero, Head of Taguig City Human Milk Bank. I'm here to present the Taguig City Human Milk Bank. The Taguig City Human Milk Bank was inspired by the I Love Taguig logo. The letter I was converted into a baby, and the big letter L with heart was retained, which symbolizes love. And lastly, the breast was added as a symbol of mother's love to her infant. Thus, the Taguig City Human Milk Bank logo advocates breastfeeding as a breast milk is the most nutritious food for the infant. The Taguig City Human Milk Bank is a service established for the purpose of screening, processing, storing, distributing pasteurized milk. It was initiated by our Congresswoman Lani Cayetano and Senator Pia Cayetano in the year 2015. It is located at 4th floor Building A, Taguig Pateros District Hospital, East Service Road, Western Likutan, Taguig City. The budget of Taguig City Human Milk Bank is under the City Government General Fund, especially under the Gender and Development Fund. All supplies, equipment, and activities needed by the Taguig City Human Milk Bank are included in the annual procurement plan of the city. It was inaugurated last December 10, 2015, after the Mother Baby Friendly hospital accreditation of the Taguig Pateros District Hospital by the Department of Health.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Christina Tuazon. I'm from the Medical City in Pasig. So I will be presenting to you our Milkbank. So the Medical City Human Milk Bank is located in our hospital. It's on the 6th floor of our hospital, which is where the lactation center is. So actually the milk bank is within the lactation center. So Medical City, as you all know, is located at along Ortigas Extension in Pasig. So some of the photos of this is our lactation center, where the milk bank is. So siya. And this is where this is the laminar flow, where we do the processing. Our pasteurizer and our freezer, and within that is also a wash area. And in the lactation center is also an area where we do counseling and milk expression. Within the lactation center is also one of our lactation stations in the hospital, where all of our employees and some patients and staff express their milk.
Makati, no, Human Milk Bank, siguro yun na yung pang-last, no? So we'll now proceed. Just want to commend nga pala the Medical City for establishing a milk bank without any, di ba, sponsor or donor, no? It's the admin or the hospital who provided everything, di ba? To the Justice Abad Medical Center, I'd like to acknowledge, no? Talagang complete ang kanilang line-up with their medical director. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Merly Balan, our medical center chief.
The institution would like to thank Rotary Club of Chinatown first and foremost for their advocacy of putting up a human milk bank in one of the 6 district hospitals of Manila. And we also want to thank Doctors Husi and Huico for generously allowing us to visit the milk bank in Favelia prior to our setting up of the milk bank at Justice Jose Santos. Okay, we got full support from them. They even enrolled us, advised us to enroll in lactation management and human milk banking prior to our setting up. So me and all my staffs, we are all certified lactation managers and human milk banking personals. So we are one of the 6 district hospital of Manila. We are located at District 3, and we are at the Justice Jose Santos General Hospital. And the milk bank at Numancia Street, Binondo, Manila, and the milk bank is situated at the 2nd floor of the hospital. Okay, I have 5 nurses, 2 lactation managers, and I have 1 technical staff who works hand in hand with me, borrowed from the director's office, of course, to comply with the ISO, because our hospital is TÜVSUD accredited ISO of 9,000 2015 last 2016. Even if the milk bank was not yet part of the unit that has been audited, we are already ready anytime. That's why the HACCP, we have been doing that every month. Okay, so we have the monitoring. We cannot afford to lag from what the hospital is doing. Okay, so this is Human Milk Bank in association with Rotary Club of Chinatown, Taiwan, and Korea, and the Justice Jose Santos General Hospital, headed by none other than our hospital director, Dr. Merly Faustino. So I think this ends my short introduction of what our milk bank is. Thank you.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. What I will do is I will not present our milk bank. We're from St. Luke's QC. We're actually a milk storage facility, and milk bank is in Global. But right now, I think we will be starting construction of a milk bank also. But what I'll talk about is computerized tracking and tracing of express breast milk. As mentioned, we are a mother-baby friendly certified hospital. It's really a strong advocate of exclusive breastfeeding with our monthly breastfeeding rates of around 90 to 100%. And this advocacy extends to sick and preterm infants in the NICU who cannot latch to the mother directly. So how come we have this project of tracking and tracing? We had a JCI accreditation visit in 2015, and there were several concerns that were identified, like we don't have an EBM, inventory and storage in the NICU, we had incomplete documentation of the stored EBM, we didn't have any cross-checks on accuracy of expiry dates, kasi di ba kapag meron ka ng milk, meron ka ng express breast milk, lalagay mo yung date of collection, and then you just think of after 6 months, ito, medyo nagkakamali rin sa computation. And we don't have time limit checks in the duration of thawing in the refrigerator in preparation for feeding. So that we came out with a computerized system, which is the Giles Milk Bank system. This is to develop an IT system which is HACCP compliant, efficient, accurate, and complete with the following capabilities. So it's an automated projection of time and date at each point of the EBM flow in the NICU. It's linked to the infant's data with the mother's data. And it's linked also to the infant's data to milk donor screening, interview data, and test. This actually we will be updating with this third bullet. So we developed an app for iPad or desktop, and so we can actually print computer-generated labels with automated calculation of the expiry dates. And as you know, with regards tracking and tracing of donor milk, EMBA recommends 30 years of storage of the donor milk, no?
Thank you, Dr. Tita. I think it's a good way of parang we can track, no, our donors, no, and eventually you can share kung pwede yung app na yun for all milk banks, no.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maylene Macaraeg, midwife 3 from City Government of Makati. Now I will present the Makati Human Milk Bank, the only community-based human milk bank operated by LGU. It means that we are under the City Government of Makati and with Mayor Abigail Binay. Medyo bibilisan ko na lang. General objective, this human milk bank has been put up so that motherless infants in the city and neighboring cities will not be deprived of their rightful share of God's wonderful gift to every newborn, to every child. Specific objective, to decrease neonatal and infant mortality by providing safe, quality pasteurized human breast milk, to improve the health of low birth weight infants, and to provide safe and quality pasteurized human breast milk to infants during emergencies and disasters. Background, the milk bank was opened by the former Makati City Mayor, Jejomar Erwin Binay, and launched on March 5, 2013. Kami po ay nagbukas sa pamamagitan ni dati naming Mayor Junjun Binay. Kasi po, nung time na namatay yung kanyang asawa ni Mayor ni Junjun Binay, siya po ay nangailangan ng gatas. Kami po ay kumukuha dati sa PCMC, kaya po naisipan ni Mayor na bakit hindi kami pwede naman pala kami mag-put up ng human milk bank sa Makati. Kaysa kumukuha kami palagi sa PCMC. Kami po ay tinulungan at sinuportahan ng PCMC sa pagbubuo ng aming milk bank. Kaya po kami ay nagpapasalamat kay Dr. Masangkay at sa lahat ng staff ng PCMC at hindi nila kami pinabayaan at hanggang ngayon ay sinusuportahan pa rin nila kami. Kaya bilang balik sa kanila, kami po ay yearly na bumibisita sa PCMC at nangangamusta. Dahil sila po ang aming parang ina. Sila Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Masangkay, lahat sila.
And then repeat after me. So the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines Incorporated, Oath of Membership. I, and state your name, as a member of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines Incorporated, do hereby solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties and responsibilities of my position. That I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. That I will abide by the rules, resolutions, and orders of the duly constituted Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines Board of Directors, that I will support the vision, mission, objectives, programs and projects of the Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines. And that I impose upon myself this voluntary obligation without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations! You are now a member of the newly organized Human Milk Bank Association of the Philippines.